So shall we start?
Yeah, do we have Pasha here? I can't.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Pasha is here with us
Hello,
on the call.
hello, Mr. Kohli. Nice meeting you.
Hi, Pasha. How are you? Very happy to meet you.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, same here.
Okay, great. I think we are all here. So let's. Who will start? Karthik, you will start, please.
Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Kohli, country head SoftBank, Mr. Pasha, Airshow, Revenue Officer, Acronis, and all my fellow leaders from Young Indians and CII. I welcome you all for the Global Unicorn Series. The Global Unicorn Series is a future business group initiative of YI and CII in the partnership with SoftBank India to encourage the spirit of entrepreneurship and guide them to become the next unicorn. The CII's future business group that comprises of brilliant young leaders of India's most successful new age businesses was officially announced on the 3rd of September by the Honorable Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Railways, Government of India. The FBG aims to curate an enabling and conducive ecosystem that plays an encouraging role in the realization of many new age businesses and thus accelerate the way for a novel business to bloom in India. The purpose of this initiative is to encourage the spirit of entrepreneurs and guide them to become the next unicorn. As a part of the series, we are going to have a participation of all global unicorns from USA, European Union, Japan, Australia, Singapore, Israel, South Korea, and share their journey towards the unicorn glory. Each session with the unicorn is focused around a talk on how a bootstrap startup could transform into a unicorn, followed by their mantra of success, the driving factors, and provide a valuable insight on way ahead for the future unicorns. Well, YI is determined to fuel the aspirations of the youth through entrepreneurship and sow a seed of innovative thinking and innovation and help them understand and identify the white spaces in the blue ocean. I feel this is going to create immense value to the youth of India. We have with us Mr. Manoj Kohli, who is the country head of SoftBank India, of the SoftBank Group International, and has an extensive experience of 41 years divided between manufacturing, telecom, RE sector. Mr. Kohli has worked in the US, Europe, China, Japan, and built businesses in 20 countries in Asia and Africa. Having worked with the corporate sector, with the DCM Sriram Group as an executive director in Allied Signal, Honeywell, Escotel, he joined the Bharti Airtel as a CEO and MD, and his key contribution is building Airtel into the #3 teleco company in the world, from 2 million to 400 million customers across the world. Mr. Kohli has been very active, and his contribution as chairman in Public Policy Committee of the GSM Association in the past, and he was also a chairman of the Industries Association, the Cellular Operators Association of India, which deals with the government in resolving all regulatory policy matters, has been tremendous. He was adjudged the telecom man of the group for attracting major investments to India. He was adjudged the telecom. He's also got the achievement award for in 2020 by the Voice and Data. He's a member of the Academic Council of Faculty of Management Studies, awarded the Best Alumni Award by Sriram College of Commerce, Delhi University. Is also a distinguished fellow of the Asian Society for Australia in building long-term trade and commerce partnership in both countries. He has been a distinguished fellow of the leading management schools, the Indian School of Business, the Board of Directors of IIT Indore, MP, and the Indian School of Business. Has, I think, tremendous achievements in this 41 years. It's kind of inspiring to have you on board with us, sir. We also have with us Mr. Pasha Esro, who is the revenue officer of Acronis. Mr. Pasha has done his master's degree in economics and finance. He is a seasoned executive with 20 years of experience in the IT industry, focused on cloud and digital transformation, business development, sales, and marketing. He has a broad international experience in emerging and developed markets, a recognized leader in multinational environment, experienced in running large team of hundreds of people and managing a 500 million plus businesses. Passionate about technology, economics, and people and talent development. He's having a wide experience in working with many corporates like Microsoft, Parallels, Ingram, Micro, Odin, finally joining Acronis in 2018 as a revenue officer. Welcome, Mr. Pasha, and thank you for joining us. I would take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Kohli, and the SoftBank for leading this Global Unicorn Series initiative. Over to you.
Thank you, Karthik, for such a warm welcome and warm greetings to all of us. And I'm delighted to have more than 1,000 participants of today's very, very important talk. We welcome everyone on behalf of CII, on behalf of SoftBank, and on behalf of Youth of India, whom Karthik and his team lead. And I'm sure today will be very, very high quality and great learnings coming from Pasha. This series has had 3 very, very interesting sessions already. Can I just request everyone to put their laptops on mute, please? Okay, so we have had Bhavish Agarwal, who's the founder of Ola, Ritesh Agarwal, who's the founder of Oyo, and of course Nykka Falguni, who leads Nykka. And all these 3 were very exciting, and I got fantastic feedback. And I'm sure today will be equally, if not more exciting than these 3. Today is the first time we are bringing in an international entrepreneur, international professional, because we thought we should expose the young Indian entrepreneurs not only to Indian entrepreneurs, but also to international entrepreneurs. And today is first time we're bringing an entrepreneur of Unicorn from Singapore. And this will be followed by more entrepreneurs from US, Australia, EU, Japan, and other partner countries, so that Indian entrepreneurs can pick up all the golden nuggets, not only from senior Indian entrepreneurs, but also from global entrepreneurs. That is the objective of today. And I'm confident Pasha will really make it very exciting for all of us. So over to Pasha. Pasha, hi, good morning. I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of all of us and for CII, Young Indians, and SoftBank. And we have read so much about you and your company. And today is the time when we thought we will pick up more details of the journey. But before we start to the journey, I thought it would be great for you to introduce yourself first, as well as introduce what exactly the company does in terms of business and in the past history, so that we can start with this and then we get into specifics. Over to Pasha.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Kohli. It's a big privilege for me to participate in such event. And nowadays, technology allows us to get together in large numbers, right? I see that we have actually, we'll have more than 300 people, right? And it's a big conference. Exciting topic because definitely technology and information technology, but not only, moves our world forward, right? And more people will kind of become entrepreneurs, will embrace kind of this innovativeness, better world we will have. So I'm really, really privileged and humbled to participate in such a conference. So let me start with the short intro, and I will share my screen, so I hope you can see that. Short about me, I made my career in IT industry from the very beginning. I actually, after getting degree at the university, I joined Microsoft and spent some time there. But beauty of information technology that you can join different companies, not only large ones, but sometimes joining a small one will be much more rewarding and much more, let's say, educational, for people. And probably that was one of the reasons why in 2011 I left Microsoft, a big company, and I joined a relatively small company, Parallels, and we did some software for Mac computers, and we also invested into cloud automation platforms. And it turned to be a very let's say, rewarding move for me when I kind of grew myself as a professional big time. Eventually, my last role in Parallels was that I led cloud platform commercial business unit, and our business unit got acquired by another big company, Ingram Micro, and I was managing the integration and kind of this acquisition deal. And in that sense, that's also a very interesting experience I got, starting working with a relatively small company, growing with that, and then going through a larger M&A. I joined Acronis in 2018, and since then I'm responsible for sales and for global channels. Right now I focus specifically on business development in APJ and Middle East and Africa regions, and I also supervise global channel development for Acronis. And for me, it's a super exciting role because Acronis does all the sales and does all the revenue through the channel, through partners. I will speak about that a little bit further. So a little bit about Acronis story. Acronis actually started in 2001 in Singapore. So we are not a new kid on the block. And the company was very successful in the first decade. We eventually grew to around 100 million of revenues, very profitable business. We did software for data protection, both for home users and for business. It was relatively straightforward, simple business, and it was quite successful. However, IT industry never stays on the same spot, and the industry went further, so Acronis had to evolve as well. So in 2013, our CEO, SB, came on board, and he is one of the key shareholders of the company. And in 2013, he joined our company as CEO. And the turnover of turning point of Acronis at that time was all about cloud technologies. Acronis used to have a good installed base and good user base from the first decade, but we were not investing by that time to cloud technologies. So that was changed, and in 2015, Acronis Cloud Solutions were launched, and then company decided a major decision to invest into cyber protection. And probably some of you will ask me, what is cyber protection? Is it kind of cybersecurity? And the answer is not, or not exactly. Actually, when you think about building a business and when you think about building a unicorn business, right? So you have to come with a strong vision. And basically, what vision we come from is that nowadays, all people, all systems, all organizations require cyber protection. And thinking about cybersecurity and data protection, we see that modern risks, kind of some bad actors like hackers or some organized criminal world, they leverage a lot of IT right now to get to and steal money, secrets, information, and do all of that. And traditional cybersecurity is not helping to address that in full. That's why 3 years ago we came up with an idea that only full cyber protection or convergence of data protection technologies and cybersecurity technologies can really protect our customers. And we thought about 5 elements of cyber protection, which starts with safety, when you need to understand that your data is safe, and if something happens, you can recover. Your data, of course, needs to be accessible. That's accessibility. You need to control your privacy. You need to make sure that the data you have is authentic and is not changed or somehow influenced by bad actors. And of course, you need to have frontline security from bad actors. We came up with this logic of having SAPAS as the only way to provide cyber protection, and then we started to work on the technology and on the product that right now I hope you heard of, Cyber Protect, or a full suite of cyber protection that Acronis provides. So right now, Acronis is a Singapore-Swiss company. We have 2 headquarters, one in Singapore. Here we have international headquarters, and another one in Schaffhausen in Switzerland. And that's also symbolic for us. And we actually love the idea of having 2 headquarters in probably 2 safest countries in the world, that are safe, that are neutral, and that are kind of protecting rather than being offensive. So it's Switzerland and Singapore. We're growing very fast. All growth of the company is fueled by our cloud solution. And we invest a lot into our global presence and work with partners. So another important thing that any IT company, especially an IT company pretending to become a unicorn, is to have straightforward and simple way of doing business. In case you kind of face the business idea, which is very complicated, it's very unlikely it can be successful on large scale. And again, on example of Acronis, this is what Acronis currently is. We sell one product, which is Cyber Protect, which is the full solution that enables all elements of cyber protection. We deliver that through our cyber cloud. It's our platform, our own proprietary platform that our partners use to serve their end customers with this solution. We also enable this platform in a way that people can customize it and invest in their own development and use the platform in relatively unique ways, because no software vendor can think of all the scenarios that are possible and that can be kind of valuable for customers and for partners. Of course, being a player in a global infrastructure, IT infrastructure, we need to invest into our own technology, into our own storage, compute, and networking technology. And as we do that, we reached good levels of efficiency. So we are very proud that, for example, cost of running this infrastructure in Acronis is actually less than Microsoft or Amazon has. And we enjoy that lower cost and good reliability because we invest into those right technologies that fit to our business mission. And also we provide different services for our partners, because our partners is the way how we grow the business. So in 2019, we got investment round. It was led by Goldman Sachs, a major player, and eventually that round actually confirmed our status of a unicorn. And since then, valuation of the company just grows. How have we used that money? Actually, we are still using that. So first of all, we looked for the companies that it makes sense for Acronis to acquire to strengthen our product portfolio. And that's also important that when you have made your bet, you actually put everything, including M&A engine, to support that bet. So we acquired several companies in 2020, and more news to come. So in 2021, we'll continue acquiring companies that will complement our value proposition and our product line. Of course, we invested into our future, into expanding our research and development team big time, and it was the main investment area for this round. And also specifically with Goldman Sachs, now our shareholder and big partner in North America, we of course strengthen our positions there. North America is the biggest IT market, and thinking about being successful as a company in information technology and being not successful in North America, it's something that happens very, very seldom, right? So scaling globally, why it is important, especially in IT, and why it is critical if we want really to reach success in IT. The answer is relatively simple. IT market by design is global. So if you do your software and your software is great, anyone from Africa, from Europe, from China, from US will use it. There are no boundaries to that. In the cloud world, it became even less complicated to get a piece of software that you want to use or get a cloud service. You just go register, pay, download, and you have kind of this operational in a couple of minutes, or maybe in a day or so if it's complicated application. And thinking about this, when you start thinking about even large markets, right? You not able to address a lot of global IT market. Let's take our example. So if we would invest into our company and focus on Singapore market only, we would address less than 0.5% of world GDP. And Singapore is large market in terms of IT. We are very successful here. Singapore is one of the best markets for us in terms of market share, but still it's very small, right? You need to have a global ambition, and you need to scale and to go outside of your home market. And thinking about Indian entrepreneurs, right? Successful Indian companies, look at them. All of them have very aggressive, in a good sense, in a good way, expansion strategy outside, right? And coming to European markets, coming to North American markets, and that is very important. Let's take kind of examples of grand companies like Microsoft, right? Their revenue growth is pretty much fueled by revenue growth outside of the United States, their home market. Yes, their market share in the United States is higher than probably in Europe, but they would not be that successful as they are now without this global footprint. So for Acronis, it's vital and it's important to be a global company. Being not large, like, I don't know, Microsoft or IBM, we need to rely on partners. And the way how, and you see, I would call it funny picture here of a movie when a guy meets parents of his fiancée, and it's all about meeting partners, and it's all about working with partners in all countries, in all regions. We, as a company, we bet on a particular partner segment, which is service providers. We actually believe that the future of IT is all about service providers, all about managed services, because IT is becoming a commodity, and people talk about that for last, I don't know, 20 years. But now finally, IT is becoming more and more like outsourced. We think that in the world there are more than 200,000 service providers. It can be a very small companies, like one-man shows, working with a couple of customers and helping them to resolve IT challenges, do some application installation, taking care of, I don't know, networking, printing, providing collaboration tools, and things like that. So service providers is the future of IT, and Acronis specifically invests into this channel. And we differentiate those service providers. They can be smaller, they can be larger, they can provide managed service, they can provide cloud services or hosting services. This is a strategy that helps us to be present actually in any country, because any service provider in any country in the world can get Acronis cloud service and start providing cyber protection to their end customers. This market grows very nicely. So if you are thinking about investing into IT, look at service provider market, because more and more of information technology will go to this managed service, and eventually, I guess, it will come like a natural that even at homes you will consume IT from some local service provider that will help you with managing all devices and all the technology that eventually comes to our lives. So local partnerships are very important, again, to grow bigger and bigger. And as the business grows, that provides you with some interesting opportunities. For example, and it was also in the history of Acronis, we started sales with 3 key markets: US, Germany, and Japan. And still, these are the biggest markets for us. So in Germany, it was so much successful that eventually Acronis bought our key distribution partner in Germany, and that became Acronis Germany. And eventually we repeated that a couple of times in other regions. And with that, you build your international footprint. With that, you build your presence, and with that, you eventually develop your channel. A couple of years ago, we started to invest into India and South Asia. End of 2019, we opened our office, and we started to invest into the channel. How do we do it? More or less straightforward, no rocket science here, but it's very important to keep doing that every week, every day, to reach out to partners and make sure that we together actually get more revenue and more profit as an ecosystem. We of course invest into different webinars, into trainings, into participation in industry events. And we are quite active in social media. So all of that also accompany any geographical expansion that you would like to do. So what do we do specifically in South Asia? It's expanding our partner program, and we have a very structured way to help our partners to grow. We introduced a blueprint on how to grow business with Acronis for a small service provider, providing them with 30, 60, 90 days plan, providing them with some best practices and tools, how even smaller service providers can become successful leveraging Acronis cyber protection technology. And again, it's very important, and it's all important: education, evangelism, and all of that. No IT company became successful without investing and putting additional emphasis into that. Another hint from Acronis history, and also I went through that when I was in Parallels as well. It's making the right choices about in investments, right? And about what do you do with the money and whom you get money from, because you can get money from a bank just as a credit line, but bank actually doesn't care unless this is a very specific venture team in that bank. I'm talking about traditional banking. Traditional banking doesn't care what you do, and unlikely they can help you with anything, right? So it's better, and it's well known, it's better to think about how you can attract smart money, right? So how you can attract investors that will actually help to grow your company will help you with expanding your presence, will help you with new business opportunities, and eventually will help you with getting either to exit or to IPO. That is very very important. So another advice is look for the right money. I would say that will eventually help you. Research and development, again, about Acronis, it's very important to be diversified. So right now we have 5 major R&D centers. We also have some smaller R&D teams in Austria and in UK, but overall our major centers are in Switzerland and Singapore, in Bulgaria, and we have presence in Russia and in the US, of course. So we used part of investment into expanding this, and specifically in Singapore, that helped us to grow our R&D center from team of 5 or 10 people to almost 200 right now. And it's also important to think about what kind of government support you can get, especially on the early stages of development. Singapore is a good place for us in that sense, because we do have a lot of government support. We partner with key educational institutions here on advanced research, and that can be a future of the company in 5-10 years, whatever results we can get them with them here. Partnerships, Singapore is good, talent market, so it's also an important choice of having our headquarters here to actually enable our growth. I would say last but not the least, we call it Formula Acronis, but it's all about values that you bring to the company, values that you bring to the team, and the way how you keep your team energized, right? Because you can have a great product or you can have a great strategy. You can have great product and great strategy, but if your team and culture inside your company doesn't support that growth, doesn't support that ambition, I have bad news for you. You are unlikely to be successful. We're very much focused on getting this Formula Acronis to every and each employee. We want every employee to understand all the time that they need to be alert and responsive. They need to be detailed oriented. They need to make decisions fast, and they should never give up, right? So that's kind of what we believe the core values of Acronis. And of course, we're looking for people who are doing a lot of are capable of doing a lot of things in a very short period of time, how we call it high frequency, care, thinking about how colleagues are doing, how partners are doing, and of course being passionate, because without passion you cannot sell, you cannot develop, you cannot market anything. You need to be passionate. Being a global company, it creates a little bit of challenge because we are diverse, right? So we are almost 1,500 people, and we have more than 22 different nationalities only in our Singapore office, and over 40 globally. And of course, the culture of the company should take into consideration this, and only this way you can become really global ones. What do? We do once a month, we do town halls with our CEO. All the time we do team meetings. We go through not only kind of business challenges or business questions, but also through like team building and motivation of people. So with that, I'll probably switch to collaboration with investors, the topic that I have already touched, right? And as I said, it's very important that you are smart with attracting the right investors and choosing the right one. So what is our experience? So first of all, it's always like a marriage, right? If you're choosing an investor, and especially a strategic investor, yeah, it's like getting your spouse, right, for many years ahead, right, or maybe for the whole life. So of course, before making an agreement on investment, it's not only an investor who should do due diligence, but also a company that attracts investment is doing due diligence on potential investors. So Acronis approach here is relatively simple and straightforward. We continuously work with many VC funds. Not all of them are our partners, but we prefer to stay kind of the edge of what they do and always brief people of how we are doing, what our plans, how we are going to develop in the next 2-3 years, and of course, good business opportunities, they come up naturally, and it's vital. And for example, in our case, Morgan Stanley is very, I would say, smart money. Goldman Sachs, sorry, the smart money that we attracted because they give us access to government officials in countries where we probably don't have that contacts. They provide us with contacts of other companies from Goldman Sachs portfolio, and it's actually very beneficial for both companies, and eventually Goldman Sachs will get a good return on their investment into us. So here are some experiences that we have. Being in Singapore helped us. Yes, Singapore is a financial hub. There are a lot of VC people here, and it also very stable and safe, right, environment. That's why people are feeling more secure to invest into company incorporated here. And also, it's important what you do post-investment, right? Sometimes the real value of investor comes afterwards when you execute your strategy, you develop your products, launch your products, develop partnerships, and then your strategic investor really helps you to scale that globally. So that was basically it, what I have prepared as an opening speech, and I would be happy to answer questions and to discuss these matters. So
okay, Pasha, this was outstanding. Excellent presentation. I really want to congratulate you on this presentation. It picked up so many important insights of a new company, of a new digital company, of a youthful company, of a global company. And most of all, I loved a lot of things, but most of all, I loved your values page. And the values which you are inculcating in your employees are outstanding. And I love the first value, alert. You said you have to always be alert, and I think that is most important for a young company, to be alert, on toes, so that you don't miss any opportunity and you don't miss any threat also, both ways. And I loved your values. I think that was outstanding. So I feel, Pasha, you and your team, I'm sure, have done a fantastic job. Now, there are a few questions which I have, and people are also asking a lot of questions, but let me start. I wanted you to start with tips for budding entrepreneurs on hiring the teams, because a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs are confused whether they should hire very experienced people or they should hire young, hungry people. What is your view?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer that people define, if not everything, then most of success, right? And thinking about this dilemma, that of course you can hire young, very energetic people, but there will be some lack of skills, lack of experiences, lack of networking, right? That will somehow slow down success, right? In my opinion, it's all about combination, right? And for example, what we do in our teams, and I will take my team as an example. I have one of the bigger teams which is partner success. They work with partners, and we have almost 100 people there. And there are some very experienced people on that team, and we hire a lot of young people to that team as well, because when you hire young people, and if there are kind of mentors and coaches there in place, young people progress very fast, and eventually they put their energy kind of into the right direction. So it's very important to have a combination, but there are two things here. One is that you need to have a very clear path of development of coaching for newcomers and young people. And another important fact that if you think about the values of your company, and sometimes you sit in an interview and you see that a person is a perfect fit from professional standpoint. So he or she has a perfect fit in terms of educational background, professional experience, previous company, things like that. But at the same time, you see that a person will not fit into the culture. And for me, it's always no hire. So because it's very important that people not only have professionalism required, but also fit into the culture. So advice, having a mix with a clear kind of people development and training program, and never compromise on values.
Great, fantastic, very, very good advice, and very grounded advice, let me say. The second question I have in mind is that you, as a small challenger company, how did you win against large incumbents when you're pitching for new business, new accounts? What did you use? How smart you were in winning new accounts against large, established competitors?
It's all about niche and quality of service. So of course, if let's say we decided 10 years ago to compete with Microsoft or Amazon, that would probably be, I would say, too ambitious, right? I mean, competition kind of head to head. So what we did, we looked at the, in our opinion, underserved market. And 5 years ago, and still today, only even it became much better now, but still not that good. Market of managed service providers is kind of underserved by these big guys, right? They work with large enterprises. They work with large distributors. We also work with these customers and with these partners as well. But we decided to make a bet on small service providers as our partners. And right now we have almost 10,000 of them worldwide. And we started from zero in 2016, right? And in kind of less than 5 years, we are almost 10,000. And our plan of growth for this year is that should be about 15,000 and maybe grow even more and more, right? Sky is the limit. And what we want to do is to provide exceptional product and very good quality of service and support for these guys. And then I bet you would easily win competition from Microsoft or Amazon or other companies, other large companies, if you kind of stay focused and deliver what these partners or end customers want.
No, that I agree. I think partner ecosystem is a crucial strength which you have. And I'm happy that you are building it. The only thing is that you are now in 18 locations. And I don't find India to be very strong in that. You don't have a R&D location in Bangalore, which is the obvious choice. So please think about it. Because globally, the biggest R&D and development centers are in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, Noida, so many parts of India. And anyway, it's just a suggestion. Think about it. But tell me, of all the markets you have entered, which ones are you happier than your expectation and which ones you're not?
Yeah, markets dynamics can be different. And I would say that India for us is one of the key markets. And we're actually considering expanding our R&D in India as well. There are no firm plans, but of course, that's very attractive. We already invested into teams in support and teams in sales that are in India, and we'll think further what can be done on the R&D space. India was a positive, let's say, surprise for us in terms of business when we started to do business here. Right now, it's the fastest growing country in the region in terms of new partners, right? And that's basically a key leading indicator of future success in terms of actual revenue growth. So in that sense, we love our Indian partners. We have more and more of them every month, and we have very strong distribution partners in India as well, local companies, and it's quite exciting. Markets where we probably were struggling, usually these are the markets where we don't have our direct presence, right? And we somehow struggle to find the right partner. So I would not call any particular country just to avoid kind of people being upset. But there are some markets in Europe where we struggled, and eventually that was either because we made a mistake with partnerships, or were not really investing into the right level of localization from language perspective, and these things can happen. It's nothing too bad about that. It's just important for us, for everybody, to understand that this is happening, look at the performance, and then make corrective actions.
Okay, that's very good. I think I'm happy that you're considering India seriously, because India today is the largest digital growth market in the world. And last 10 months have changed the behavior pattern, digital behavior of Indian consumer, even in small towns and small villages. Indian customers are buying online, transacting online, financial transactions online, and therefore the need for cybersecurity is at the peak now. So I believe that India will be a huge future market. So please do focus, and please do, and whatever guidance you need for Indian market, CII and me and Dr. Ashish, we will all support you, whatever help we can give you, because we want bright, young, smart companies to come into India and grow into India. Now, 2-3 other questions, Pasha. One is that last year was a tough year for the world, but for your sector, it was quite thriving. So as you come out of last year into this new year, how are you re-strategizing your business growth strategy for the coming 2-3 years? Because obviously, market has completely changed, and the propensity for companies, whether they are small or big, to go for your products is much higher this year than pre-COVID.
Right. 2020 was a remarkable year for us as our cloud business grew more than 50%, right? And it started to accelerate. And of course, when people working remotely and kind of not going to the office, but they still need to be productive and use all the IT, again, many of our service provider partners, they felt that the business is doing much better. So last year, in my role of head of sales, I talked to maybe 150 partners across the world, and only few of those told me that they experience kind of challenges and issues. And in those cases, the problem was that those companies focused on recreational industries, for example, like hotels or travel, and those service providers, they of course felt not great because their customers were out of business, at least for some time. But the absolute majority of other partners kind of saw a lot of growth, and for us 2020 was a pivotal year when cloud business became majority of business that Acronis does, and it accelerates. So right now for 2021 we have very ambitious plans of doubling that business by the end of 2021, which would be difficult, but as we say in Acronis, we never give up. It's one of our tenets, and we will do that for together with our partners, because growth of our business is growth of their business as well. So it's joint.
No, you are just following, I believe, the footsteps of your ex-boss, Satya. He's fully focusing on cloud. You're fully focusing on cloud. And I'm sure you will double it up, because that is the future. So you're on the right direction. Now, coming to managed services, you know, I initiated managed services in India in '92 when I gave large billions and billions worth contract to IBM, to Ericsson, to Nokia, to many BPO companies. And after that, of course, managed services spread across the world. Tell me, what is the future of managed services? Because a lot of Indian companies are now participating in that business, offering managed services across the world. I've seen Indian companies right here where I am in Gurgaon and Noida, giving services to LATAM companies, to American companies, to Korean, Japanese, and of course Australian companies. So what do you think is the future of managed services? How will it shift and change in the coming 2-3 years?
I think the trend of moving expertise in IT to outsource will just continue. And you have a lot of experience with kind of large companies, when companies like IBM take on kind of outsource IT infrastructures of large companies. We work with a segment of smaller service providers, right? And we see more and more SMBs not actually doing their own IT anymore. Of course, still many more businesses out there who will eventually embrace that. That creates a very good opportunity for people kind of providing managed service. Eventually, people don't want, if they do something, for example, they do accounting services, or they do I don't know, restaurant. For them, they don't want to spend time and money on getting the IT right. It's complicated, and nobody a good I don't know, legal firm, right? They probably would not have good IT people, because good IT people will go to IT companies. But at the same time, the penetration of IT technology into every aspect of business is huge nowadays. Basically everything is digitized, right? Everything goes through this digital transformation, and small service providers, even small ones, they help their customers to do that. I think that there is no way that IT will be kept insourced, let's say, in 5-10 years. I don't think so. Maybe it will take a little bit longer. Maybe I'm optimistic, but definitely it's the future. It's the future.
No, I think you're right, Pasha. Next 5 years, there'll be a major flow towards managed services, and because managed services are not only high quality but affordable, and they also pick up domain expertise, which every company can't have in company. It's difficult to do that. So you're on the right track. I think your future forecast is very, very appropriate. I am now, there are many more questions. I'm now going to request Karthik. Karthik, as you know, represents youth of India. And I'll request Karthik, if he has 1 or 2 questions to ask you. Karthik, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli. So I think from market perspective, I think when you are entering into a new market, and when you're looking at India as a market, what is your opinion of the challenges and the strengths that you look at, being a part to gain, set foot in India?
I would say that there are no kind of stoppers, right, or significant blockers. It's all about doing right things and doing them in the right sequence, right? So we established first presence with a small office. Then we invested into a partner team that helps partners to onboard with Acronis services, and that helps them to get successful. We made some of the important partnerships with large distributors and larger service provider partners as well. We always look for new partnerships, and we always kind of try to see how we can provide kind of good service to end customers. One of the challenges that we faced, that Indian market is super competitive, especially in terms of price, right? And that kind of provided additional pressure on our margins, right? And of course, you would like to see kind of good ROI on your investments. But I think that's also a matter of time when we kind of get our returns. That I can call out as a tactical challenge that we faced kind of last year. But overall, yeah, as I said, we're very optimistic. India is one of the best markets for us in terms of partner acquisition and growth, and we see quite big presence in India in a couple of years for us as our plan.
So there is one question on the chat which I would like to probably add upon, is that when you are looking at partners and when you are looking at recruitment, what is the how do you evaluate the skill matrix or the skill factor of the Indian youth? Do you have any opinion on that, and do you think how we can improvise, upgrade, or you think that they are absolutely world ready to take on challenges?
I think that the talent pool in India is exceptional, especially in IT, right? And it was never a big problem for us to find the right kind of personality and skill set. We also invest into education and trainings for employees and for partners. So we have tools to, let's say, educate people in kind of to Acronis technologies and to the way how we operate. So in that sense, India is a great market. Also, language helps a lot, right? Having English as universal language actually helps a lot, because it's much more difficult if we come to, I know, to one of European countries, even European countries, where they don't speak English. Sometimes it's difficult because you need to localize everything. You need to kind of invest into additional people that do that. It's more expensive. So in that sense, India is very attractive and a very great talent pool that we see for our future.
Thank you, Karthik, for wonderful questions. So Pasha, I agree with you on both the aspects. One, that India is a super competitive market. It's not for weak-hearted companies. It is for strong-hearted companies, and many companies come and get tested here, because if you can win in India, you can win anywhere else in the world. And if you can earn profits in India, you can earn profits anywhere else in the world. So India is a really test ground for many good companies. Second thing, also, I agree with you. Indian talent is fantastic, and I can tell you, I travel to small towns, villages, and when you ask young boys and girls there, what do you want to be? And they say, we want to be software engineer, we want to be AI engineer, we want to be machine learning. I'm telling you, the new talent, the new generation which is coming up, especially from small towns, is coming up to conquer the world. And I think that is fantastic, because education, and especially education in IT and passion for IT, is going to take India to somewhere else in the coming decade. So please do utilize this opportunity, and whatever help we can give to you, we'll be happy to give to you. At the end, I just want to thank you. I want to wish you great success across the world. and great success in India. And I believe that you are in the right place at the right time, because cyber security, cyber protection is going to grow by geometrical progress in the coming decade. So good luck, and I'm sure you'll be a great winner in the coming years.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kohli. Thank you very much. And I hope it was useful for the audience. So thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And next time you are in India, do call on us so that we can meet you and help you. We want
Absolutely.
you to do very well in India.
Absolutely. I hope international travel will be available soon. Thank you very much.
India, by the way, is stabilizing very well. We are at the very low ebb of COVID. New cases are very low. Vaccination is picking up very well. Economy is expected to go double digit in this year. And the power consumption, by the way, last week was at the peak, all-time highest, with
This is good news.
more than last January. So January to January. So Indian economy picking up quite well, and companies like you are welcome and invited to India.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a great event. Thank you for organizing that.
Thank you to all participants, all the audience. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you,
for
sir.
the organization. Bye.
Thank you, sir. And on behalf of CII, I would like to thank SoftBank. I would like to thank Acronis, and I would like to particularly thank Mr. Manoj Kohli for his inspirational leadership. It was a fantastic session. We look forward for similar sessions from international and national unicorn success stories every month in this series. Thank you, everybody, for joining. A great effort from everybody. Thank you. Great summit. Thank you.
All the best. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Hi, Gagi. We are still in the call, but good call, I think.
Yeah, I think it was great. Yes.
Yeah, it was indeed. And I think, Gagi, we can catch up separately offline on a couple of new things, I think, future businesses, startups.
Totally. I will shoot you an email. Give me your phone number and let's connect.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, CII team.